What was your preparation process for this role, playing Sergeant MacLellan? I mean, aside from meeting him and all that stuff, like, how did you get yourself into it? Because, dude, like, for the people listening, like Paul and I, when we got into this business as stunt performers, one of the biggest surprises was auditions. And it was like, I don't know how to fucking do anything acting wise, audition wise, whatever.
Luckily, we had a really good friend who was able to help us out with
Yeah,
that.
you, dude. Like,
Thank you.
you have been more success. I always give people credit for any audition that worked out well for me. I credit you because you're like, I consider you like my acting coach in that sense. And it's like, so how did you prepare for this role? It's like literally kind of like what Paul said, like your character was understated for most of the movie. You didn't get the same kind of build up that a lot of the other characters got, but when the shit hit the fan in this shootout, you were like the main guy
I
or
know.
one of the main guys.
Yeah, it's hard to say that with humility, but it's true.
You don't have to. We just
I'm
said
one
it.
of the,
Just
I'm
nod
one
and
of the
smile.
three guys that say Boston. I'm playing one of the three guys that say Boston. So how do you prepare for that, or prepare for any acting role?
No, how did you prepare for this one? At that time in your career with this type of scene and playing a real person that's still alive, that's not a historic figure, like, you know, like,
Or
what
just
was
not a character that was created. Like
Yeah.
you had to play someone that people were going to look at and be like, okay, just an example of a bad portrayal. If you ever saw Black Mass, right? The guy, like either of the two guys that played Whitey Bulger's right hand man were both like, and I'm, one of the guys is like, dude, he goes, they made me look like I had, I look like I had Down
Jesse
syndrome.
Plemons, and Rory.
So like,
because those guys weren't funny in real life, and they definitely they weren't underlings to Whitey. That was how Whitey's crew ran. They were all equals. You could not.
No, but I'm saying as they were portrayed, they were like, he made me look like a fucking blah blah blah. He made me look like this. He made me look like that. He made me look like this. Like I sounded like this. I was a fucking. I'm trying to use words that we're not trying to use.
so
on the podcast.
but along those lines,
with you, you're working and being a guy who's standing basically next to you.
Yeah.
Right. And you knew that. It's not like you're playing a role when these guys are like, yeah, I'm playing a role of a fucking gangster who went to jail, who I'm never going to fucking meet. Maybe he'll get mad at me. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You're playing over a role of a guy who's going to be like, who can come up to you and be like, hey, I would never do that.
Yeah. Here's the answer. With any acting role, I'll get more specific in a second, but with any acting role, you need to surrender. Anything you do to resist what is creatively laid out in front of you, or any impulse that you have, or any impulse that you have to overthink it, you're fucking yourself up. Surrender. That voice listen to your heart, not your head. Playing Sergeant John MacLellan specifically wasn't that hard, and I'll tell you why. Because there was a lot of common ground we had to walk on. There was a lot of mannerisms. There was a lot of who we are morally that was similar. And he told me what happened. So I portrayed that with honesty. I know the culture, and I think to do something really well, you have to have fun at it. Think of the people you admire the most creatively or whatever. They're having fun. There's a lot of guitarists that are pretty goddamn good, but the best of the best, your Stevie Ray Vaughns, your Eddie Van Halens, your Jimi Hendrix, they're having a blast. The best actors, your Marlon Brandos, your Gary Oldmans, your Daniel Day-Lewis, they're truly enjoying themselves. So you just have to surrender and have fun with it. And that fun might not be, ha, this is, a joyful experience. It's still work, but your fun might be enjoying that tension of having a shootout, or
sometimes the fun is just absorbing the work and feeling it.
Thank you.
It just gives you that. It gives you that feeling of accomplishment, like after a great workout.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And then here's the final thing about doing the work. It's a movie. You got to do whatever the fuck the director tells you to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's freedom in that too. Oh, I don't have to fucking worry about it because the director made the choice for me. It's kind of it can be relieving to the right actor. And Peter Berg was pretty cool with that. He also liked to have us do long improv, which I don't know how that it got left on the cutting room floor. I had some good improv with some of the other actors, and going back to what we were saying before. While we were filming, there was a collection of chairs for guests, and the majority of those guests were either law enforcement affiliated with Massachusetts law enforcement that was affiliated with the shootout in real life, as well as the neighbors that were living in the neighborhood when the shootout happened. They were all invited to the set to watch it, the filming, which was pretty cool. And I got to talk to them and meet them, and it helped everything. But it also, we carried a responsibility to do it with integrity.